Okay, so how this is being designed is you can see from the first page, this is from the syllabus document. So subsequent part, the content, and I know that some of you are also drawing the diagram as I talk. Before you look at the subsequent page, how the different slides in the subsequent page is designed is basically the content that I see from here, and I arrange them according to the level of complexity. Okay, level of complexity meaning to say, which is why the next slide that you see, it is on normal profit, supernormal profit, subnormal profit. Then later on from the subnormal profit, we are able to see, do the firm decide to stay or leave the industry, which is after that, it is a shutdown condition. Then after that, you see that there is merger and acquisition. Why I use the word merger and acquisition? Because if you see from the syllabus document, the first one they mention about growth. So how a company can grow, they can have merger and acquisition as one of the strategy. Other than that, they can actually have marketing or innovation. But all these are according to the structure over here. Then after growth and merger, I think I talk about product innovation and process innovation. So this is also part of the firm and strategy over here. Okay, I separated product and process innovation because it has different effects on the firm's product innovation has the effect on the demand curve. Because of product innovation, your product become more of a higher quality, it reduces substitutability, and therefore it changes the demand shift to the right and become more price inelastic. Process innovation has effects on the cost structure. So as you can see from the other pages on process innovation mentioned to you what you needed to do, but we'll go through that later on. So the purpose over here is to tell you that how I design my the slides accordingly. Then the next thing is I also want to highlight this is actually the concept and tools of analysis, which I hope that you can look through and recognize that which are the things that you know or which are the things that you do not know. So on the diagram that you will be drawing later on, you will be seeing how all these concepts will be used. For example, deciding on the profit maximizing level of production. This is where you look at MR equals to MC. Then the last lesson I gone through with you why MR equals to MC already. Then the second bullet point there is actually the alternate firms objectives or other firms objective. So traditionally it is profit maximization, but other than profit maximization, depending on the context, the firms may choose not to profit max but do a revenue maximization. So this is actually another tool which is in chapter 4A. Okay, the last part of chapter 4A. Total cost, average cost, marginal cost. Actually, the good thing is if you know how the cost curves are being drawn, you are already showing your understanding of your cost curve. Okay? The other one is if you are able to identify your total cost from the diagram by referring to your average cost, that one is also showing this as your tools of analysis, because from the diagram you see AC curve. But from the AC curve, you highlight total cost. Because total cost equals to AC multiplied by quantity, then this is actually showing that concept already. Similar for my fourth bullet point on revenue. Okay? Then after that, internal and external economies of scale. I think last year or the year before, the A-Level has one question on that. So if you want to test yourself on your knowledge on internal and external economies of scale, you may want to refer to your A-Level, I think 2000, I forgot which year, I think last year. It is about how to show the explanation of internal and external economies of scale and how it is linked to the firm's cost of production. Let me see. Yeah, correct. So last year, 2024 essay question 1. So how it is linked to the long run average cost of production. So this is actually how they use the syllabus document to set the question. Okay, third degree price discrimination, please go and read up because this is actually a pricing strategy. Okay, third degree price discrimination is a pricing strategy used by firms. But of course, before that, you need to highlight what are the conditions. For example, there are different markets, able to distinguish the market. There is no reselling of the tickets, so on and so forth. Okay, so go and study on your own. Shutdown condition, make sure. Okay, I want to say something. Although the syllabus document over here mentioned that diagram analysis of price discrimination, shutdown condition are not required, but then I think it is good to know, and later on when you draw, you are able to explain the logic behind your diagram. So the diagram is good for you to show analysis of why a firm choose to shut down and not to shut down. I think we can go through that later on. Okay, then going back to the right side again, barriers to entry. Barriers to entry is also one of the concepts that they are asking for. With that, can I just have you, do you have this one with you? Some have, some don't have. Alright, because I remember that Samuel in last lesson, he asked about, do you always need to talk about, what is that called? Supernormal profit in the long run, something like that. And if you look at the past year paper, there was a question. Okay, I cannot show you now, but past year paper, there was a question on the quick service restaurant and to ask you about the market structure that they are in. Okay, so that one is testing you on the 4 different characteristics, whether you know the 4 different characteristics and you are able to explain and apply to the quick service restaurant, which is like McDonald's, Burger King, KFC. Okay, that was one essay question. In another year, there was a similar but not so similar question. If I'm not wrong, it is the telecommunication question, asking you, describe the characteristic of the oligopolistic structure that the firm is operating in. So the difference is they are both asking you about characteristic and the market structures that they operate in, but in the quick service restaurant, they did not give you any market structure. They asked you to identify the market structure. But in the telecom question, they told you and stated that it is in an oligopolistic structure and explain the oligopolistic structure. Okay? So my question to you is, are you able to see the nuances in the difference in the question? Like the 2 questions are basically the same concept on market structure, but one question gives you the structure, but the other question didn't give you the structure. You all realize the difference, right? One gave you a structure, one didn't give you. The one that gave you told you that it is actually an oligopolistic firm. The one that didn't give you, it is open for you, whether you can talk about monopolistically competitive one or oligopolistic one. Okay? So if you realize that, let me just tell you, one of the things that you can do right now when you are practicing and revising, it is to also, based on the differences in the words that the examiner used, infer the intention, what exactly that the examiner is testing for. Okay, so I can give you the quick answer. The one that gives you the structure, oligopolistic structure, they are specifically testing you on barriers to entry. Because only in an oligopolistic structure or a monopoly, then you are able to explain well about the barriers to entry. But they ask you for oligopolistic structure. They gave you oligopolistic structure. There are 2 specific content that they are looking out for. High barriers to entry and apply it to the market. Why? In the telecommunication industry, it has a high barriers to entry. Okay? The second thing that they are testing out for is, suddenly I forgot, price rigidity. Because they stated oligopolistic structure and it is telco, you have your M1, Singtel, StarHub, and I think last week there was some merger or whatsoever. I didn't follow the news. So it is testing you on price rigidity. Okay? So for that telecommunication question, this is the reason why they designed the question in this way. Okay? So these are the two specific content that they are asking for. And yesterday I received a question from my student. He came to my consult only with one question. I don't know how to write the depth. I don't know how to write the depth in the KR. I don't know how to write what is necessary, what is not. So may I just remind you, when you identify the key requirement on your own, make sure you know which is the specific econs concept that they are testing out for. And then use that for your content in your explanation. So they test out for barriers to entry. So make sure you are able to identify at least 2 different types of barriers to entry, contextualize to the market that it is in, and then explain. If you say that this is barriers to entry, this is not enough. It will just be a cursory explanation. So a better explanation will explain why it is high barriers. You'll be able to convince whoever who read your essay that it is a high barriers to entry. And therefore, you need to explain how come when a potential entrant wants to enter the market, just like the Grab that we were talking about just now, it is very difficult for new entrants to enter the market. Okay, so if you think about just now the case study that we gone through, one of the questions asked for barriers to entry, the exclusivity arrangement with the driver. Okay, so subsequently competition versus collusion. So this is the econs concept. Then consumer welfare, efficiency. I hope you are able to use this to recall efficiency. Allocative efficiency is P equals to MC. Then productive efficiency and so on and so forth. So any point that they produce on LRAC curve, they are productive efficient. Okay, so long as the firms are producing on the LRAC curve, they are productive efficient. Therefore, I hope right now you are able to extend this to remember this thing called X inefficiency, where they are producing above the LRAC curve. Why a firm can afford to produce above LRAC curve? Basically, it is the idea that high barriers to entry, no competition, and then they are very lax with their cost control. Therefore, even though there is a long run average cost, where is a LRAC, but they will still bother to maybe spend on company dinners, gifts, to encourage them, but maybe the increase in productivity is not as much as the amount that they put in for the lucky draws, so on and so forth. So in a way, they are producing above their own LRAC curve. Okay, and then the last part is on consumer welfare. Hopefully you know that this is about using the diagram to indicate your consumer surplus. And welfare also include the same thing that we mentioned: price, output, variety, quality, quantity. If you cannot remember this, hopefully you can remember, I want to say me, because like an auntie, welfare is all these things that we are looking out for. But I shouldn't be insulting myself in this way. Alright, the last part that I also want to direct you is actually also on the syllabus document, the impact of firms' decision and strategies. So this is actually what you learn from the lecture notes in the last part of the chapter 4B lecture notes on performance of the firms in the market structure. They are looking at the efficiency, which is I think the word P-wise. You all remember this P-wise? My department remember this as PIVCE. So the price, innovation, variety, consumer surplus, and efficiency. Okay, so similarly, This is an acronym now, but on the syllabus document it is noted in this way. Okay, so but my main intent to bring you to this part is to look at people. Don't you realize it is staged in the 3 bullet point? If we use the stakeholder perspective to read the three point number 1 is about reading this from an economist perspective, how it will affect market. Specifically as economists, we are looking at efficiency. So which is why these are the 3 different efficiency concepts that you are drawing out to explain. Okay, I need to mention this to you because I need you, when you read a question, please be very mindful of the effect that the question is asking for. Okay, does it affect the economy or the society? Then this will be on efficiency. Affecting consumer, this is where you over here you look at choice, quality, surplus. Can you help me to put a word variety? Okay, variety. Okay, consumer surplus actually includes, by the way, when you see consumer surplus, actually the word price is already included. Okay, you may want to put a word price beside consumer surplus. Why I say that? Because just now I keep saying you want to lower the price, but of course the implication will then be it means that consumer surplus increases because consumer surplus means the difference between the price that they are willing to pay and the price that they actually pay. So when the price that they actually pay lowered, there is an increase in the consumer surplus. Okay, so that is why on the syllabus document they didn't use the word price. They use the word consumer surplus. But for you, when you do your analysis, draw the diagram, you show that the price reduces. But can you add in 1 or 2 more lines to say that this increases consumer surplus because consumer surplus means you give the definition and the price is lowered, there is an increase in consumer surplus. Or even using the diagram, you are able to show consumer surplus already. Okay? Then, point number 3 over here is, if the question asks you how it affects the firms, then this is actually the 3 things that they look out for. Cost, revenue, because TC minus TR, then they give you the profit. Then on the diagram itself, on the diagram itself, draw your AC curve, not LRAC curve, draw the AC curve. Then from the AC curve, you are able to see a change in the profit level. I think we did that quite extensively last year. So today we do a recap lah. Okay, so this is why I put this as my first slide because I know lecture notes have a lot of content, but let us be more specific and direct to look at how all the different curves can be drawn. So normal profit, do you need me to go through with you? No need, right? Okay, I hope to go through this so that I can do my recording so that next time I can show my students. But anyway, it's okay. Normal profit, no. Normal profit, okay, right? So, normal profit is not straight line, you will get across. Normal profit, maybe I just go through very, very quickly with you. So instructions say ARAC, but please do not just follow this instruction. Okay, so step-by-step drawing part. Oh no, no wonder something wrong. Okay. Step-by-step drawing part, I think some of you can go through already. So let me just go through this very quickly. For the rest who are not following, you can draw the other curve. But over here, this is quantity. So before you draw your AR and AC, the first thing is draw your AR and MR. Second thing will be MC curve. MC curve. So AR. When you draw your AR curve, the other things that I look out for is make sure that MR cut AR in the middle. So this is my MR. Then this is my MC. So second one is your MC. Third one is profit maximizing level. So profit maximizing level is MC equals to MR. Therefore, MR here, profit maximizing level is here, Q0. Then at this level, this is where I go up to look at the point that is on my AR, because AR equals to demand. Demand means that this is the willingness and ability for them to purchase. So this is the price that is being set. So this is actually the basic diagram to begin with. So your MR, AR, then your MC. So Ethan, you asked a question on normal profit. It depends on your AC curve. So it means that this, when you draw, you have to be careful, because this is why market structure is a little bit difficult. But may I just have you to do more practices on the diagram drawing, because I do not want you to panic during the exam. Because the moment you panic, right, then you forgot, then somehow it will just affect the rest of your paper. So you want to draw normal profit. So just thinking before I draw my curve, I know that P is equals to, on AR, this is my AR curve. Okay? And then AR, as mentioned, TR equals to AR times Q. So the whole thing over here, this is actually my total revenue. But we need to look at my AC. So this is, need to draw that AR equals to AC at the equilibrium quantity or equilibrium output. So which means that my AC should be here. So when you draw your AC curve, make sure that it touches it tangent. And then at the lowest point of the AC curve, it moves up. So this is my AC curve that didn't touch the tangent. So I have to draw again. Okay, I have a bit of OCD, so let me draw it again. Alright, somehow just imagine that they touches each other already. So this is my AC curve. So because of that, AR equals to AC. Okay, but there are a few things that I want to mention. This is actually a normal profit, AR equals to AC, which is why at the start I have already know that I need to show my AR equals to AC at this particular point. So this is the planning before I draw my AC curve. Then the other thing that your teachers also look out for, not the teacher, your marker, your assessors, they look out for is making sure that the lowest point of your AC is actually the MC cut through. MC cut through the lowest point of your AC curve. Okay? If you couldn't remember this, why the MC cut the AC at the lowest point? Could you still remember last year we have a conversation? The average height of the class is 160. You have Taylor from my class 180 coming into the class. It will bring up the average height. So when MC is marginal cost, an additional person coming in with a greater height, your AC will go up. So which is why when your MC is above AC, the AC will go up. Okay? Then, if your average height of the class is 160, I have someone, maybe a primary 5 kid came in with 120 height. 120 height. I think so, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to use another person in my class who is short, right? It's so insulting. So I say primary school, kindergarten students came in. So the height is 120. So this is where, when the average height is below, so I use another color. Average height is below the MC. The average, when the additional height coming in is below the average height, the average height is downward sloping. You understand? So when an additional person with a shorter height, come in, the average height will be downward sloping. So this is the reason. There is a theory behind it. So which is why the assessor, when they look, they must make sure that your MC cut the AC at the lowest point. Okay? So basically, you know how the normal profit is being derived. So if you look at the subsequent part on supernormal profit, I think I'm not going to go through with you. Okay, you can draw on your own. So if you can't, maybe just to highlight that it means that you are supernormal profit. So let me just use this diagram to go through the supernormal profit. It's very easy. It is just your AC curve to be lower. So this is my AC curve, which I don't like because you need to make sure that it cuts. Okay, this is better. I like it. AC1. So if you look at my AC1 over here, equilibrium quantity or profit maximizing level is still Q0 because there isn't any change to my MC and my MR. Then at this point, this is the price, which is your AR, but my AC curve is here, people. The AC curve is here. So this is a point that you identify the AC because it is actually at the profit maximizing level. This is my AC. So because of that, your AR is more than AC. Therefore, this is actually a supernormal profit. Okay? So I'm just making the process a little bit quick for you because I'm just using this slide to go through. But on your own, please draw your supernormal profit and then lastly your subnormal profit. Okay? So I have 10 more minutes with you. I just want to cover subnormal profit, shutdown condition, and later on maybe just a merger diagram with you later on. Okay? So subnormal profit, let us draw together. Q0, then this is my price. Okay, so subnormal profit means that your AC is above. So this is my AR at the profit maximizing level. Going up, this is actually my AC. So AC more than AR. This is actually subnormal profit. Okay, then can you look at this question? Why the firms continue in the short run despite the losses? So the losses over here is referring to your subnormal profit. So why do they continue? Still continue. They will still continue if if AR is more than AVC. Agree? This is what maybe you have memorized. Then we use the diagram. AR is more than AVC. Over here we only have AC. AVC is something like that. Let me draw for you, huh? Okay. Pardon me, I have a little bit of OCD. Not nice, not pretty. Not good, because make sure that MC cut it at the lowest point. Can't be bothered. Okay, AVC here. Okay, so the distance between here is actually your AFC. Okay, the distance between the two lines at any output level, this is actually your AFC. So the distance actually, as the quantity get larger, the distance between AC and AVC will get smaller. I repeat myself again. As the quantity increases, increase in quantity, the distance between AC and AVC will get smaller. Okay, because the difference between AC and AVC is AFC. So AFC, this is actually a fixed cost. So for example, a fixed cost of 1,000, if you take this divided by 10 units, it will be 100. If you take this divided by 100 units, it will be $10. So which is why as the distance or the quantity increases, the distance, which is your AFC, will get smaller. Okay, that's the logic. So which is why when I draw the diagram, I make sure that the distance between AC and AVC, it will get narrower towards higher output level. Okay, but this is actually just the drawing part. And I highlight this because, as mentioned in the syllabus document, you need to know the cost curve. So cost curve consists of not just average cost. You also know that there is this thing called fixed cost and variable cost. Okay, so in the short run, there will only be fixed cost and variable cost. So back to this question, why the firms continue? They will still continue when, oh my God, AR is actually more than AVC. Okay, so which is why on this diagram, this is actually my AVC. Okay, so if they continue production, the AR can cover part of the AFC. Okay, because AR can cover part of the fixed cost. Reason is because fixed cost means that whether you produce or not produce, you have already incurred the cost. That is why when AR is more than AVC, it is good because the revenue can cover all of the variable cost and part of the fixed cost. So you continue production. Okay? If they shut down, you use the same diagram. If they shut down, what do you think is actually the cost incurred? If they shut down, the cost incurred is here, 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 and here. This rectangle, AVC, AC, then you know what? I will put A and B lah. I also don't know. So I will say cost incurred if shut down is AVC, AC, AB area. Okay? If they continue production, so maybe I put here, if continue production, cost incurred, okay, let me be more systematic. Cost incurred if continue production. You know where would it be? Here, 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 and here. Because this is my AR, I can cover a part of the cost, but this is a cost that this area is a cost that I cannot cover, as AC is above my AR. Therefore, it will be area AR AC A, and you know what, if I put C, it will be very confusing, then I'll put X. Up to you how you want to label, so long as you can refer to the diagram. Okay? So under this condition, can you see that when they shut down, cost incurred is the green color area. If they continue production, the cost incurred is the yellow color area. Therefore, do you see that the cost incurred when they shut down is more than if they continue production? So people, decision will then be continue production. Okay? So this is the part that subnormal profit, but they continue production. Can? If you have understood this, and you see how I drew my color and my boxes, I'm so sorry that on the screen it is not clear. Cost incurred when they shut down or continue production. Okay? If you are okay with this, can you stay for a while, like 10 minutes? I'll just cover the next part. I don't want to be the one talking. Can you immediately apply to the next slide? The next one is about shutdown condition. What you need to do is the same explanation, but you have to draw that your ABC is above your AR. Okay? Turn to that page. We will do this together. Okay? We will do this together. So on your own you do, on my own I do. So this is an extension from what we explained above, and hence let us draw this together. Quantity, origin, similar concept. My AR, MR, MC. Okay. This is my price. Then over here, AR below AVC. So this is my AR. So my AC is here. Anyway, my diagram, I keep drawing my AVC curve because a bit didn't like it because I don't think it really cuts the AC and AVC. MC didn't really cut AC and AVC at the lowest point. But I think on your own, you can draw it better. So over here, this is my AVC. So this is where my AVC. This is clearly a case of subnormal profit. Okay, so my AR is below AVC. So AR is less than AVC, shut down. Then you need to analyze why you want to shut down because of the cost incurred. So it will be the same that what we mentioned here. Currently, the price, the revenue can't even cover the average variable cost. So shall we do the same thing? Cost incurred is shut down. It will be area here. Okay? Are y'all going through with me or y'all drawing on your own? Okay, so let me use another color to go through this with you. So if you shut down, then this will be the cost incurred. Here, AR, AC, here A and B. Okay, area, AR, AC, A and B. Okay, so if I cost incurred, I am wrong. Cost incurred if I shut down, it will be cost incurred if I shut down. I was so wrong. Oh my God. Okay? Cost incurred if I shut down. Okay. Cost incurred if you shut down, it will be this area, or maybe I put it this way. Follow me because I got a bit of confusion already. It will be this vertical distance because this is AFC. So if you shut down, you are actually giving up all the fixed cost. So which means that if you shut down, the cost incurred will be area, AVC, AC, A and B. Okay, AVC, AC, A and B. Can? If you continue production, cost incurred if you continue production. If you continue production, this is the AR that you are receiving. And if you are continuing production, because MR equals to MC, this will be the average variable cost that you are incurring. Therefore, the cost incurred if you continue production will be AR, AC, A, and over here, C lah. X. Because I don't want to use the word C because AC, AVC, so X. Okay? Up to you how you want to write it. Area, AR, AC, A, and C. Can? Because if you continue production, you are not only incurring your fixed cost, because fixed cost, whether you produce or not produce, it will always be there. You are also incurring your average variable cost. So because of that, if you continue production, this AR, AC, A, and X is the cost incurred. So over here, you can see that if you continue production, the cost incurred will be higher. Therefore, the decision will then be shut down. Okay, so this is actually the two things that last lesson y'all asked me to go through with you. Can? Okay, so with this, I am done with the first two, which is actually something that is more basic lah. Then the subsequent part, I just need you to be the one on your own, maintaining the same level of clarity. Don't be like me, I got a bit confused just now. Maintain the same level of clarity. Walk through the process according to the strategy or the change that is mentioned. So over here, it is how it will affect your demand curve. So it all depends on, I think for my explanation here is not so good yet. Reason is because, to be honest, it is just shifting of the diagram, not just to the right. Because you can argue the point that, I thought we are meeting after this. Huh? No, we are meeting there after this.
I thought it was like 1:30.
Okay, what? Okay, never mind. Alright, so let me just highlight for those who stay here, because there is two things that I want to say, because whatever that you see that is printed out is not enough yet. Not enough yet. On the demand curve, can you on your own go and argue that the demand increases and become more price inelastic? Reason is because if you have a merger, you actually have one less competitor. That's the reason why your demand become more price inelastic. Agree? This is something that we have gone through just now. Because you merge or you actually buy another company, you have one less competitor, therefore your demand really increase but become less price elastic. So on your own, you need to go back and practice drawing the diagram such that, let me tell you what you need to show. Because it is not easy, even though you anyhow draw. Or some of you in arts but not able to draw. Alright, so you need to show there is an increase in price, possibility there is an increase in quantity. You need to show this, because that's the reason why they want to merge. And then, yes, on one hand, the demand become more price inelastic. They are able to increase the price, and quantity demanded will fall less than proportionally. But when your demand increases because you have less competitors, by right, the quantity increase. So go back and draw how it will affect your demand curve, which is your AR curve. Okay? MR didn't change. MR changed together with AR. Sorry. MR changed together with AR. So go back and draw. But after that, when it comes to the cost effectiveness, not cost effectiveness, cost curve effect, please, your written explanation, you have to show your economies of scale and how it will reduce the average, the COP per unit. So this is actually the econs written explanation. Then over here on the AC curve, you have to show that it shifted downwards. Okay? And then this also reduces your MC curve. AC reduces MC is marginal cost, which is your additional cost incurred. So if you have economies of scale, it means that additional unit that you produce, you are producing them at a lower price. So which means that logically, your MC also lower. Okay, so this is something that I need to highlight for this these several slides because I know that the content on the right is actually not enough for you to draw the diagram. So you must remember, you draw them as a pair. When you want to change your demand curve, you change both your AR and MR. If you want to change your AC curve, you show the change in your AC and MC curve. Let me tell you something that some of you might thought of, but you know it's difficult. Can you combine all of them on one diagram to show both your AC and MC, AR and MR changes? Very difficult. So don't do that. Okay? Very difficult. Don't do that. So with this that it has changed, what you should then be doing is how it shows an increase in profit. To show on the diagram that it could be the case of subnormal profit becoming normal profit, that one is also increase in profit. Normal profit becomes supernormal profit, also increase in profit. Supernormal profit become more supernormal profit, also increase in your profit. But this one, honestly, only possible when you draw your diagram. Because you are then being able to use the diagram to show the amount of supernormal profit position and how there is an increase in the area, to show that there is an increase in position, profit position or profit level. Okay? This is why market structure, you have to draw diagram to be able to show the last effect on how it increases profit and how the mergers also increase profit. Okay? Alright, so last two sentences to you. You see that how the changes to demand and cost curve is being explained here. I am actually quite confident that I don't need to go through the rest. You know why? Because they are the same. The only difference is the strategy that they use. You do product innovation, you increase the quality, it is to increase the demand for the product, it is to make your product less substitutable, and therefore you make the demand less elastic, more price inelastic. Okay? Then do the same thing, how it changes the demand curve. Process innovation, also the same thing, but don't confuse. You wrote product innovation and you change your cost curve. That one I cannot save you already. Okay? Product innovation is on the product, and therefore the intent is to increase demand. If during exam you go and write product innovation, it is to reduce cost, you just have to laugh at your own answer. Okay? Then process innovation is the cost of production, all this, and you make it more efficient. Therefore, you have to explain this, and therefore how it shifts this and MC downwards. Okay, because at every at every quantity level, the cost of producing it, whether it's average cost or marginal cost, it reduces. So that's why it is a downward shift. And then it's the same. That's why I didn't want to go through that. Then the rest, I think up to you how you want to explain. Honestly speaking, whatever strategies you have, if you say demand increases, your job is to explain why. If you say that the PED value reduces, you also have to explain. So your job is to connect this to the changes here. Okay? Your job is to make logical explanation of the strategy here and how it changes this line. Okay? And marketing, of course, it is not about process innovation, and hence there isn't anything on the cost curve. And the last one is third degree price discrimination. Guys, go and study on your own. Okay? So I'm not going to go through this. All this, my purpose is just for you to realize that actually the pattern is the same, but you just have to draw the connection. Okay? So with that, let me